Welcome to the Cardinals Squad Show, and it's Benjamin Garcia, host of Locked On Phoenix Suns and the Ben Garcia Show. It might not just be Jonathan Gannon's seat that's getting warm. It could actually be the coordinators. Tom Pelissero came out with a new report. We'll dissect that next.
I'm Jamil Douglas, former NFL offensive lineman. What does Kyler Murray's trade stock or trade value look like moving into the next season?
Alex Clancy, Locked On Cardinals. With underwhelming performances from the run defense for the Cardinals, what do the Cardinals need to do to keep Bijan Robinson under 200 rushing yards on Sunday? Let's get it, baby. HVAC.
Rise up, Red Sea. It's the Cardinals Squad. Everything Arizona Cardinals every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from the Valley of the Sun. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Gear up and squad up. The Cardinals Squad Show starts now.
What is up, and welcome back into the Cardinals Squad Show. There is a lot of things we got to get into, but before we do so, however you are listening, wherever you may be listening, thank you so much for making myself and these guys in this show a part of your day. Remember, Locked On Arizona Cardinals Squad Show is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. So click that follow or subscribe button to do what thousands of Cardinals fans have already done. Become an everyday and get locked on the Cardinals and Cardinals Squad Show right here each and every day. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets. Fellas, we got some new reporting coming out from the great Tom Pelissero. I feel like I should pat myself on the back a little bit for this one because I mentioned this on Sunday that if Jonathan Gannon wasn't the one that could be let go, it could potentially be his assistants. And put out by Tom Pelissero today was they've got young coaches. My understanding is Michael Bidwell has been really supportive of those guys to this point. That's certainly going to be an examination of what's going wrong, and he wants to give the staff a chance. But if it keeps spiraling, he'll have to examine what has gone wrong. Feels like we are potentially maybe starting to see some of the things that are showing towards the end of the season. Jonathan Gannon might be here. The coordinators might not be here. I kind of talked about this Philadelphia Eagles way and line of thinking from 2022 where they let go of, I think it was Sean Desai and can't remember who the offensive coordinator was, Braden Kellen Moore, brought in Vic Fangio. Sunshine and rainbows in 2024. They go to the Super Bowl. They end up winning it. Is that what you got from this report, or is it could be a full sweeping clean house, Clancy?
I think it's a hashtag trust me, bro, at this point. Like, we have no idea what's going to happen. If the Cardinals lose by 20 the rest of the season, like I said on my show this week, that it's time for JG to go. Like, I'm done. Jamil stole all my stuff. I've been saying that for a long time, and no, Jamil said it last week, and I'm like, wait, maybe? Like, at this point, I think it's so sour between the lines that everybody should just go. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not saying that's the best choice to happen. At some points, everything is pointing to this not being run back, and sometimes you just got to take the signs from the universe that it's run its course. So whatever. If you don't bring the younger, you don't bring the coordinators back, you bring JG back, you bring in some old dudes that have done this before. That's the best case scenario for me. I think Nick Rallis and Drew Petzing, it's time.
I feel like you're just setting yourself up for a hamster wheel effect, in my opinion. Like, okay, say you get rid of the coordinators. You're basically saying that Jonathan Gannon gets to essentially wipe his hands clean in this situation. Now you go and you handpick whatever coordinators you want, whoever, will take the job, considering they don't have a quote unquote, starter for quarterback. Their run game is kind of broken. Got to fix the offensive line, whatever. You go and you get new DC, new OC, and you tell Jonathan Gannon, all right, either he gets to pick them or whatever, but these are your guys that you have to roll with. What happens when they're not successful next season? You're just you're prolonging the cycle of getting the right guy. And I just don't feel like it's worth it. To me, if you get rid of the coordinators, those are Jonathan Gannon's guys. He picked those guys. He wants to ride with those guys. The head coach has to be accountable for that. And if I'm a head coach, I don't know how I feel about, having to go out and choose coordinators based on what's available. I don't know. To me, you're prolonging the cycle, and you're going to be right back in this position if it doesn't work out next year. Just do away with the whole situation.
So let me ask you this, because I use this sometimes on the show, and I've used it over my time in the space. Is like, we're like in the middle of an eclipse right now. Okay, it doesn't sound dumb. Let me get there. So the sun and the moon are almost crossing. They're approaching, but the eclipse isn't happening yet. The Cardinals have 1 year left on the head coaching deal. They're not going to draft a quarterback this year, you would think. And with those two things, it allows for a little bit more flexibility with the decision. Say they have the number 1 overall pick and they're taking the Mendoza kid out of Indiana. Jonathan Gannon's gone. Like, you are starting fresh with a new head coach and new coordinators, a new offense, and a new quarterback. Like, with this, it's not that. It's almost that, but it's not that. So that's the thing for me where it's like, the offense is the biggest sticking point, but if Jacoby Brissett's not your dude for the future, it doesn't really matter what you do in OC, as long as you find something that works where you can accommodate 2 wide receivers. So you can do everything. Clean house, bring just JG back. If you want to bring all 3 of them back, who gives a rip at this point? It's like, you know what? If you're going to chalk it up, you're going to chalk it up. And up until this point, Nick Rallis has done a fine job as a DC. Through 5 weeks this year, he did a fine job. And then the wheels fell off.
Yeah.
It's not as simple as just JG and no coordinators or everybody gone. There's so much more nuance to it, even though people don't really want to look at it that way.
Yeah, the nuance is so out the window. It's so like, Clancy, you put something out that was quote tweeting Kyle Odegaard on social media, and I thought it was a good point of like, the best coach in the NFL isn't winning with this roster. And a lot of people kind of snap back at you with like the Kyle Shanahan side of thing. And then no one talked about the strength of schedule of Kyle Shanahan. Like, if the Cardinals played the same opponents of the 49ers and they were still this bad, like, there's so much more nuance to it that I totally agree with you on, which is why if someone is still out there, like, let's give Jonathan Gannon another year, I think it's totally fair. But like, forget about any of that. Let's say someone said this to me on social media and I couldn't remember, just some random person. And I was like, that's a really good point. The difference between when the Eagles did this, and I'm not saying the Cardinals are doing exactly what the Eagles are trying to do, but the difference was they had just been to a Super Bowl. They went 11-6. You told me something different. This is watch this.
Some random guy on social media.
It was 11-6.
Jamil Douglas told me.
And then when they brought in a bunch of new head coaches, it was Kellen Moore's Vic Fangio, and it was all good song and dance. The problem is, and this is where it wasn't from Jamil Douglas, how are you going to find someone who you trust much more than Drew Petzing and Nick Rallis, convince them, hey, you're kind of on a prove it year. Do you want to wait it out for something that might be a little bit more stable, or do you want to come to this job? The pickings are even going to be more slim, which
it's a hamster wheel. It's just a hamster wheel.
You are really talking about now the slim pickings of the slim pickings, trying to grab the right guy. And then it leads me back to maybe you just got to fire everyone, right?
I mean, one of the biggest differentiators between the two is they have the best offensive and defensive line combo in the league. So you have that spine where there's so much more forgiving, just pretenses with that. It's like having an average quarterback behind the best offensive line in football. I think Nick Sirianni's a Ponzi scheme as a head coach, but he walked in at the right time. They fired the coordinators and not him. And then you brought in Kellen Moore, and what Howie Roseman has done is that all of the good players that were ever available over the last 4 years, and now they're Eagles. So it's a completely different thing. Michael Biddle ain't going to do that. So it's not exactly comparable that way. Jamil, if you were playing for the Arizona Cardinals, you were going to the last year of your deal next year, and you look at what's going on right now, what would be your best choice if you could choose what to do with the coaches as a player?
That's tough, right? If I'm on
you have the same information. Like, say you have all this information, you're going in, You're wearing red on Sundays next
Like,
year.
are you
This is
asking
what
me if I
happened.
want to re-sign with the
No, I'm
Cardinals?
saying what you would like to have being the leader of the team, or if you
okay.
want new leadership.
Yeah, I would say it's tough. I would say new leadership.
Okay.
And that's me thinking I'm in a great situation as far as I'm established. I've been here the last however many years, 3 years, and we haven't gotten it done. We haven't figured it out. I would say we need something fresh in the building, but that's just me speaking hypothetically.
Sure, of course.
I think I truly think that, like, the more you try to mix and match and say, oh, we got to get different coordinators in and they're going to mesh with his philosophy, like, the more you try to do that, I think the slipperier the slope gets. Like, the more slipperier the slope gets. Like, let's start fresh. We understand that next year we may not take a quarterback, but we're going to get our coach in the building and start establishing the culture and the beliefs. And this is going to be a turnover year for us to getting the new energy as far as what we believe this organization can be. And then the following year is going to be our year to really kind of, make our footprint. But that's just my thought process around it.
I mean, and look at it like this, like, the most important player on this team right now is Trey McBride. I think that's safe to say. He is the MVP of this team. And it starts and ends with the right OC choice if you're going to do it. So as BA saying it in the chat, like, we've talked about this off and on, the Jack Del Rio effect. All Jack Del Rio did was go take the DC jobs where the head coach was on shaky ground and he would take over and get an extension. He did it with the Raiders. He did it with Jacksonville, I think. There are those guys that are like, I'll be here if you guys need somebody. If you fire the head coach, I've done it before. Hello. So if you got a guy like Brian Dable who wants to take an OC job and sees Marvin Trey and Trey Benson and this offensive line, like, you want to bring him in and you want to let Jonathan Gannon not go into the offensive room at all and have a dude who's done it. And they made the playoffs a couple of years ago, with the Giants. I don't think they were dysfunctional as Joe Sheen made them look like when they let Saquon go. Like, you want to do something like that, established OC who's been a head coach, cool, do it, and then bring Nick Rallis back. I just don't know, because it's difficult because they're on expiring deals.
So 2 weeks ago, I had mentioned one of the reasons why I didn't think Jonathan Gannon was going to get fired is because it felt like he wasn't feeling the pressure at press conferences. I'm not sure if you guys saw this, but I can read it to you guys, where Jonathan Gannon gave his dissertation on, how tough it is to improve tackling because this team is the statistical worst tackling team in the NFL. And he related it to, in the PGA, not allowing Scotty Scheffler to practice hitting with his wedge, kind of talking about the the NFL rules and regulations in practices and things of that nature. Do you feel like that is Jonathan Gannon, the very first step of blame shifting? Like, it's not on me. I kind of took it as it was the injuries, but also the rules and regulations of the NFL. And that's why he's having so many missed tackles.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, somebody's leading the league in tackles, so everyone's playing under the same umbrella. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could have the best metaphor for it as possible, but still doesn't really strike me as like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's why you're missing tackles. It's unacceptable in the NFL. You got to tackle.
Like, I haven't enacted my Nana and her swear word like I've done on Locked on Cardinals for years. Hooey fish. That's what I say. That's baloney.
Yeah.
Like, Budda Baker, I think he's leading the NFL in missed tackles. Like,
sure is.
Listen, some of this has to do with not getting a push up front. Okay, that is a ripple effect, just like them not being able to run the ball is a ripple effect for the offense. You're an NFL player who makes millions of dollars. Tackle the damn guy in front of you. Like, this isn't, since Pop Warner, you're learning this. This isn't Patrick Peterson who could push people out of bounds or not tackle. Like, this is a talented defense. That's coaching. And you should be able to coach enough between the lines in practice where you're not leading the league in missed tackles. You're, pseudo best player.
But do you feel like that was the first step in, like, first off, do you guys believe in my sort of theory of, like, you start to see some blame shifting in press conferences or not on the field of, like, it's not on me and trying to save their job? Did it come off as that to you guys from Jonathan Gannon today, trying to, like, it's not on me? I thought it was more him trying to point to injuries until he got deeper into it with the rules and regulations, and it just felt stupid. But
I mean, I think
No?
at some point when things have just been going south for so long during the season, and there's been so many times he's kind of, I don't want to say taking the high road, but he essentially has. I think he's got a little chink in his armor right now, and some things may get taken out of context, and I think he's just at the point where he's going to let people take it how they hear it. So, but it's still, to me, tackling is a want to type of thing. Tackling is a mentality thing that is set by your head coach and defensive coordinator in terms of how guys approach tackling. And so I think his hands aren't clean within that, even if he's not calling the defense.
Yeah, I mean, and just like the garbage time looks with the yardage, people say, oh, the Trey McBride and Michael Wilson, a lot of that is in garbage time. The Cardinals are getting boat raced in the fourth quarter when the defense has been on the field the whole damn game. So, yeah, you want to go garbage time the other way with missed tackles and stuff like that, with like the Rams down the stretch when Blake Corum ran like he was Eric Dickerson. Like, yeah, they're tired. The want to kind of wanes when the offense doesn't do them any favors, especially in the run game. It's like, it's not an excuse. But if you're going to find one thing that's the biggest indictment on Jonathan Gannon as a coach this year, it's that. Yeah. That's it. Your team doesn't tackle. Your team isn't playing to the level that they've grown accustomed to playing, regardless of win-loss over the last couple seasons. Just not.
While we're on the subject of tackling, we can move on here in just a second. Jimmy, how many tackles do you have in the NFL? You ever make an open field tackle?
Sure. Yeah, I probably have like 3 or 4. I mean, it's not a good thing.
There you go.
Not a good thing. It's right.
It's not a good thing, but yeah, I've got a couple.
The best Larry Fitzgerald stat to ever exist. Jamil?
He led the league not led the league, but something around tackling.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
Very good. I'm really happy you got that segue. We're talking about a wide receiver. Yeah. Larry Fitzgerald has more career tackles than drops.
There we go. I knew that. Yeah, that was a good one.
It's just wow. I was just curious, Jamil, if you ever had to lay out someone.
Sometimes.
Ben, whenever you want to get laid out, Jamil said, just pick a park.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll bring the paramedic.
I set Jamil up for a perfect. He just swung and missed, or he took the high road. That's probably what it was.
The high road. All right. Well, you're easy work.
We're not in the off season yet, but we're almost there. And the Kyler Murray trade value discussion is now starting to heat up as other quarterbacks are getting benched. We are starting to see how the market will develop. What does Kyler Murray's trade market and value look like now? Let's talk about it next. Today's episode is brought to you by Rocket Money. Ever feel like your money just disappears each month? It happens fast. A few subscriptions here, an impulse buy here, and suddenly the money in your bank account doesn't match the numbers in your head. Rocket Money helps you get clarity, track every dollar, and stays in control of your finances, because managing your money shouldn't feel like a second job. Rocket Money does the heavy lifting for you so you can save money and stress less. Rocket Money finds subscriptions you were paying for, and it helps you clean them up quickly. Like, I got to tell you right now, me and my wife for a long time were paying for 2 Spotify accounts. We were paying for Paramount Plus, and I didn't even know about it. It's the forgotten accounts that Rocket Money's helping us find. Bust that in there. We're able to see, we can get rid of these and easily save ourselves like $40 extra a month. And that's just on a couple of things. Take control of your finances and cancel unwanted subscriptions with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. rocketmoney.com/lockedon. All right, let's keep the show rolling. The Kyler Murray conversation is starting to heat up. We just saw Tua Tagovailoa was just sent to the bench for Quinn Ewers, and we're starting to see what the market is going to look like in terms of what quarterbacks will be available. Clancy, you're the kind of one that sparked some of these conversations on social media today. What do you think Kyler Murray's trade value is right now?
I think it's a first, and I don't think that's crazy. He's not like a top 5 first. But when you look at the teams that need quarterbacks, there are a lot of them. And a couple of them have a lot of picks. Cleveland, Jets, to name a few. The Raiders need to get out of that Travis mockery they're in. And it's not just that. Like, there's so much nuance and circumstantial things that go into it. The quarterback class in the draft is historically terrible. There's a lot of quarterback needy teams. And the good quarterbacks, there's how many, like, truly off the top of your head, guys, how many untradeable quarterbacks are there in the NFL? I'm not saying contract. I'm saying due to value for the team.
It's probably like 8.
4.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah,
8?
I would say. So
Wow.
I'd say under 10. You probably put Trevor Lawrence in there because they're a 10-win team now. He's now in there. You know, you've got guys that are not going anywhere until so say 8. So that's 25%. The other 16 teams or the other 24 teams are listening. Doesn't matter if they're actively listening or they're listening, but the Jets, the Jets have multiple first-round picks in the next 2 years. They need a quarterback. You're welcome to give up the worst of the 2 picks. I think, what is it, the Dallas pick this year for Kyler Murray? Is that bad? The money isn't that bad. You add an extra year, you restructure, add an extra year, lower the cap hit for this year, and you're off to the races with a dude who's significantly better than anybody you have under contract now. So it's not just Kyler Murray's appearance and magnetize the negative magnetic field around him now. He's better than most quarterbacks in the league. Still.
Yeah.
Many quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll say this. I think you can get a first for Kyler Murray because it's a quarterback-driven league. And like Clancy said, the draft coming up is not – you're not super crazy about, the quarterbacks that are coming out. Kyler Murray can win football games. He just needs a lot to be in the supporting cast. That's just a reality of it in my eyes. I think someone will give up a first-round pick if they're, if you're a team like the Jets or the Dolphins or, someone like that, because you've struck out on quarterbacks for so long. And I think when we if we think in terms of, I don't even want to make that comparison, but I do think you could get a first from Kyler Murray, out of Kyler Murray.
It's not crazy at all to give a first for Kyler Murray. Carson Wentz was once traded for a first-round pick.
You see what I'm saying?
Aaron Rodgers at 50 years old was traded for a second-round pick. What are we doing here?
Well, Carson Wentz, to be fair, Carson Wentz was conditional that he played 75% of the snaps in Indy. So he barely got there. But yes, Kyler Murray, as much as he wasn't a fit, it seemed like down the stretch for Drew Petzing's offense, still has special in him that most quarterbacks do not. And with a bevy of picks, you're able to kind of be a little bit more flippant with one. If you've got a couple, there's no draft class, and the money's not that bad. He's not even top 10 cash hit this year, and he got extended a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I don't think it's crazy. I don't think he's worth necessarily a first as a talent anymore, but I think the value that he brings to an organization is
100%.
But also that doesn't matter when people bring up who cares what he's worth? What is someone going to pay for him? Because all the time players are you give up more. Free agency is literally overpaying for players to bring them to your team every year. So this idea that they're not worth that, whatever. It's either you pay a first for Kyler or Mr. Outside hire that's not Kyler, and that's not going to be great. Or it's Justin Fields, and it's you're going to overpay for that. Do I think they get a first? I don't know. That feels a little far-fetched now with the Tua Tagovailoa thing too being added to the equation.
Tua is stinky. Tua is bad. He's bad at football.
Tua's going to be a Cardinal next year.
Dude, if Tua's a Cardinal, no. I'll who would you rather have, Kyler or Tua? Just out of curiosity, just for the sake of the segment. Let's say that they called up and said, let's say they called up Jamil. Let's say the Miami Dolphins called and said Tua for Kyler, and we'll give you a third because his contract's a little bit worse than Kyler.
I would do it. If
it's
I'm
a lot bit worse. He's guaranteed $65 million next year.
Yeah, I would do it if I'm the Dolphins.
No, for the Cardinals. This isn't Locked On Dolphin Squad show.
If I'm the Cardinals and I want no, I wouldn't take the deal for Tua. No, I wouldn't take the deal. No. But yeah, no, I don't know. I got a question. You said there's five quarterbacks. I said 8, and you were mind blown by that.
Yeah, I was a little mind blown.
Why?
I think when you said the question, when Clancy said the question, how many quarterbacks are untradeable? The way I think of it as someone calls, they ask for your quarterback, and you fart in the phone and hang up. That's
Sure.
what I think of it like that.
Sure.
I still think Burrow is there. Now, how that goes, whatever.
Yeah, Burrow.
Mahomes, Allen, Lamar,
Stafford.
Jaden.
Matt Stafford.
No, Stafford's
I don't think
8.
Jaden's there still.
No,
Yeah,
I
Stafford-
wouldn't put I would put Jordan Love over
Jordan Love.
Jaden.
No, I don't think Jordan Love's there either. I don't think Stafford's there either.
You're crazy.
I'm not
You think the
Get
Packers?
out of your
now,
mind.
what are
Matthew
they
Stafford's going
worth?
to win MVP this year. Lamar.
Yeah, but he's 80. He's 80. If someone in the offseason called and
that's
said,
not
I'll
the
give you
point.
2 first-round picks,
That's not the point.
No, we're
That's
talking
do
off
it.
play.
the
We're
exercise.
talking off play, dog.
That's not the exercise. We're talking about right now.
I guess I don't
Right
understand the exercise.
Okay, the Rams are not going to trade Matthew Stafford. They would not
right
trade
now.
Matthew Stafford.
Okay, sorry. I'm thinking
Well,
the
yeah, let's
offseason,
talk about
right
2065 when
Sorry.
Matthew Stafford's
now.
grandchildren are
Sorry.
playing. We're
Then
talking
you are
about right
right.
now.
Right now in week
Drake
15
May.
of the NFL season, then
Yep,
there's
Drake.
like
Drake May.
then honestly there's
Bo.
like 13 of them because you're not getting rid of them.
Bo, nah. I would say there's
Bo,
eight.
yeah, probably
Let's
Bo.
see.
But like that's the tough part because it's like, okay, there's youth there and the promise is there, but the actual delivery, because they haven't been in the league long enough, isn't there. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
let's kind of bring this down
you.
here. So the 1%ers quarterbacks in this league are Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. I think that's them. And the honorable mention of Aaron.
I
Matthew
even think
Stafford.
Dak Prescott. Let's not forget Dak
Yeah.
Prescott. He's not.
I would trade
tradable.
Dak. I would trade Dak for Kyler Murray straight up in a heartbeat.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes,
I'm
I
not
would.
gonna. No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, it would.
Clancy. No, you wouldn't.
Wait.
Clancy,
You're
Clancy.
saying
What more do you need
you're-
to see?
Clancy.
You're saying
Are
if
you
I was
serious?
Kyler. Wait a second.
You're
Let
not
me
serious.
understand.
He's
You're
not
the
this.
serious.
Cardinals?
He's not
If
If
serious.
you're the
Cardinals-
Cardinals,
Oh,
would you trade Dak for Kyler? Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I thought you were saying
Oh.
if I'm the Cowboys, I would trade.
No.
I was
No.
like, no, you're
Oh.
crazy. You're crazy.
Yeah.
Dak will be a
you know what?
Cowboy for life. Dak will
And
be a Cowboy.
another guy is Jared Goff. Another guy. Oh, look, comments. Another guy's Jared Goff. Like Jared Goff is the most undervalued star quarterback for a while now. So there's guys. But if somebody called and asked about Jared Goff, they'd listen. How much? So the actual guys that you'd hang up on, and what
That's a good
Ben
conversation.
says excrement in the phone, like what he just normally talks as, I think that would just you be talking, is, very few. Very few. So that's the delineation between the two. Like my favorite stat here is outside of under the age of 37, there are 2 quarterbacks who are starting that have a Super Bowl ring. Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes. Okay. Aaron Rodgers, Flacco, Matthew Stafford, all those guys are older. 2 out of 27. So it's not as simple as just like, oh, you find your guy, you find him forever. When you have him, you got him. And everybody else, there's a
Yeah.
ticking timer to when he's not your guy anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
100%. Let's.
I think it's
go
So
ahead.
do you think
Go for
do you think first round pick is possible? Would the market dictate Kyler Murray being worth a first round pick this offseason?
Yes, because there's not going to be it's going to be slim pickings from a free agency standpoint. I mean, obviously Mac Jones will be sought after for sure.
Mhm.
But it's going to be slim pickings in terms of who's out there, who's available, and then what the draft looks like. You don't know what you're getting. I think if you're a team that has a good nucleus, a offense that's functional, a defense that you view as one of the top halves of the league, I think if you plug Kyler in and build a system around him, your team becomes competitive right then and there. So
Right.
I think a team will be willing. The Jets would be more than happy.
Yeah,
a
that's-
first round pick. Yeah, let's get him now.
And like I want to build off of that a little bit because when people say like he's not worth a first, like I don't necessarily disagree with that. Again, it's what someone will pay. Put yourself in Aaron Glenn's position. That team, you could argue, has gone backwards this year, but you think they're probably going to keep him around to, not fire head coaches. And it's been 1 year. You don't think Aaron Glenn and whoever their GM is right now,
He's standing on the table. Aaron Glenn is standing on the table trying to get a quarterback.
You don't think they're saying right now, like, do I want to go to battle next year with Tyrod Taylor or give up one of my first round picks for Kyler, bring him in? Like, what do I care about what he's paid 3 years from now? Like, to Clancy's point, even if they don't give him an extension and kick money down the road, what does he care? He's trying to save his job. And 8 wins next year probably gives him another year. And so, like, it's more than just picks and what they're worth.
I think it would be a head coach, if he doesn't get fired, who's had a lot of other success with another 5'10" quarterback in Pete Carroll over there with Ashton Genty. I think that would be the best fit. They got a first. But, yeah, man, I don't know. I think it's 51% they'll get a first for him.
So let me ask you this. Would you rather a second round pick this year or a first round pick next year?
In terms of what? What are we talking about?
Kyler 2027.
Oh.
You take a first round pick. You take a first round pick whenever you take it.
Yeah, it depends, bro. Yeah, it depends on my situation.
Cardinals are going to have a bona fide second first round pick this year with the top second round pick. I mean, they finished top 5. They're going to have the 5th pick in the second round. So it's pretty much going to be the same.
My guy Brian Abdul in the chat, there is no way they get a first. If they do, we all need to kiss the bald head of Monty Austin for it as a fan base.
This is a family show, okay? Let's keep it PG.
Here's the Cardinals do play a game this weekend, and it's against the vaunted Atlanta Bijan Robinsons, and we're going to break that game down. We're going to talk about it, and we'll maybe dissect the Cardinals got a chance this weekend to do the impossible and get a win. Let's talk about that next. NFL Sundays move fast. If you didn't know that, they do. They're a fast pace game that you watch each and every week. One big parlay, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you react to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is the best when the game starts to shift, the receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as guys heat up. You can bet next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, every possibility. So if you want to be in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season like FanDuel. The game moves fast, and so can you. All right. So the Cardinals got a game this weekend against another team that could be firing their head coach this upcoming weekend. I'm sorry, this at the end of this season. Bijan Robinson. I think I saw a report that said Drake London is going to play. Kirk O'Chains is coming to town. Clancy, how do you start to break down this game?
Barf. So hashtag analysis. So I actually did some numbers here.
Let's hear them.
Listen, my brain melted. So the Cardinals, if you guys had to guess from the bye week, so weeks 9 through now, how many rushing yards are they averaging giving up a week? And let's not get crazy. Like be serious. Like I'm not. This isn't 300 yards a game, obviously. So if you had to guess, what's the average number?
I'd say 100. I'd say 102.
Jamil?
I'd say they're giving up 115.
148 yards a game.
I beat you, Ben. Ha.
Yeah. Price is Right rules, sucker. So you don't even know what Price is Right is. Price is Wrong, B. So when you got something like that, that's fine. Okay, so that's not
not good.
Box. It's not good, but they're not giving up 200, like whatever it is. There's garbage time. There was the Blake Corum run. Like there were a lot of things that factored into that. This is the big part. None of those teams that they played, the Rams, the Bucks, the Jags, Houston 49ers, Seahawks, and Cowboys, rank in the top 7 in the NFL in rushing yards per game. So not only are they giving up these massive numbers, these are not top elite rush attacks. Bijan Robinson has the most all-purpose yards of any player in the league this year. Bijan Robinson is going to have upwards of 200 all-purpose yards on Sunday, and it's not one of those things where it's like, hey, Let's keep everything in front of you. No. This dude can catch the ball at the line of scrimmage and beat everybody and your mama around side out the corner like he does. Like, he's so fast. His 0 to 60 so fast, and he's so quick twitch. Like, this is going to be a problem. It's stop Bijan. That's the game plan. And they haven't been able to stop anybody on the ground.
Yeah. I mean, that's a crazy analysis. I think, I mean, we spoke about this, right? These next two games are games that we said, well, at least I said, the Cardinals have to win these two games. Falcons, Bengals coming up. I think, and I say this all the time, like, this is a game that's winnable, right? Like, the Falcons haven't had a good year. I mean, after the win versus Buffalo on Monday night, where I thought they were going to try to put it all together for the season, it's been, I think, 8 losses since then. And, you know, the wins come against, obviously, Tampa Bay last week on Thursday, and they beat the Saints, who, you know, both of those teams, and I won't even put Tampa Bay in the same category as the Saints, but Tampa Bay has kind of, you know, went through a little lull in their season, and then the Saints have been it's been interesting this year.
Yes.
But it's not encouraging from a standpoint of what Bijan Robinson can do and what this defense has struggled with in stopping the run. The good thing about it is, I mean, they're not putting up a ton of points on teams, and they're not a team that's like blowing teams out of the water. And so, again, same thing I say every week. The Cardinals, I need to see them starting fast, like versus a bad team, versus a team that I wouldn't say they're superior, you know, to the Cardinals. Like, obviously they've got some position specific guys that are better, but like this is a game in which you should see a Cardinals team compete. If they don't, I said it last week, Jonathan Gannon's got to go, guys. Like if this looks like a team where they just can't even hold a cup of water to the Falcons, like, we can no longer have the conversation of, is he the right guy? Like, he has to go.
This is going to be the week where it changes that, because over the last couple weeks, you could make the case, right, that, well, you know, the Rams are really good. Seattle's really good. San Francisco is really well coached. I don't know how great they are. They haven't had a great strength schedule. They've been missing a lot of pieces. But, like, this is the first week where you're playing another team that is, you know, just getting cardio out there. They're eliminated from the playoffs too. And if they could, like, what happens if we come out on Sunday and Drake London streaks across the field in a crosser route, in a whatever, beats his man off the jump in a cover one because Jalen Thompson's not going to play in this game, and scores on the first touchdown? Like, is that it for Jonathan Gannon? And is it fair for me and Jamil to kind of feel this way potentially, that, like, if they don't come out and start strong, that we're putting all of our eggs, maybe not Jamil, but myself, in this basket of, like, you don't start strong, we're just done with it?
I think it's fair. I don't know what else. What
are you surprised that they're losing games? Like, that's my biggest thing, is like,
At this point, after
the Seattle game, I was like, all right, well, wrap it. It's like, you know, it's what it's going to be. This is what it's going to be. So there's 3 games left. So if he wins on Sunday, does he save his job? Like,
no, but it depends what it looks like. If they come out, like, what if they come out, Clancy, and they just punch the Falcons right in the mouth and they win 31-10?
Aliens.
Like, well,
ain't gonna happen.
Yeah,
it hasn't happened. It's not going to happen. If it does, then that'll be an exception to the rule and not the rule. Like, the redeeming quality from last year, lest we forget, was first 7 or 8 games, they scored a touchdown on their opening drive. Like, they were in it right away, down 17-0. The scoop and score against Seattle, 14-0, before even a blink. The 49ers kickoff return. We talked about this so much. Christian McCaffrey, a 2-yard touchdown run. Like, immediately, the Cardinals are out of the game. They can't.
My thing is, if you play long enough, you're gonna win games. Like we we've seen.
How did we get here?
That sounds like a Dolphins motto. That's what they were preaching to you.
No,
Joe
but
Philbin
seriously,
was saying
That's
that.
something
We
you
just
tell
saw
a high
this-
school team who hasn't won a game in 3 years.
Right. We just saw the Saints beat Tampa Bay and Carolina 2 weeks back to back.
Yeah, not great.
Like two teams that are fighting for a playoff position. And I consider the Cardinals to be a better team than what the Saints have. I consider them to be better. So at what point do you string together, like they have better players on paper? What point do you string together a win just off of competing and the ability to play a game on Sunday?
Usually you string together more than one thing. You want to string together one thing.
Just one, because that means a couple things went right. But
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, man. Like, at what point, like, we can't keep putting it on, this and that. Like, teams are sneaking out wins when they're not supposed to win. When does that happen for the Cardinals?
Yeah. And I mean, the other thing, luckily, though, this isn't going to be the game where the Cardinals win and then the Rams leapfrog the Cardinals in the draft order, because the Rams have Atlanta's pick next year. So at least Atlanta beat Tampa Bay, so the Cardinals have that buffer.
That was so big.
Because here's the thing. If the Cardinals lose out, they're a top 5 pick, even with their strength of schedule and all the tiebreakers and stuff. And if Tennessee wins another game, the Cardinals leapfrog them, I think.
My guy's clapping for mediocrity.
Yeah. Wait a second. Well, I'd rather clap for terrible than mediocrity. Being in the middle is the worst thing you could do. Like, at least if they're terrible, you have a chance at going after Mendoza. So we talked about this a couple weeks ago after the Jags.
No.
Why? Because he won the Heisman?
But that's not the point.
That is the point. You say things,
Jags
then you say it's not the point. That is the point. You said it.
No,
and we're reacting to what you said.
No, the point is this. I asked you guys a couple weeks ago after the Jags if you guys were okay with them now losing out like I was. Are you cool with the fact now, like,
no,
you're probably going to fire the coach? Golly.
I don't care. You can't tempt fate. You cannot predict what happens in the future. All you can do is give it your best and win one for the Gipper. That one's super after school special there. I don't mean for that to happen. You just got to play, man. If you win games, you win games. If you don't, you don't. But it's not like I'm never going to applaud them winning or losing because they got a draft pick. The only reason they got Marv is because Matt Prater missed 2 game-winning field goals against Seattle 2 years ago in Week 18. You can't predict any of this. Go
just
win games.
If Kyler doesn't scramble, because we're talking about the Falcons, if Kyler doesn't scramble for that crazy first down in his return back in Jonathan Gannon's first year, we're probably talking about the Cardinals having Jaden Daniels, Drake May, or Caleb Williams right now, just so we're clear. So that's my point.
Chasing ghost.
All right. Well, while we're off that subject for a brief second, I want to mention this as well, because the offensive line has been pretty good over the last couple weeks, Jamil. Your guys. No Paris Johnson Jr. this week. I won't say the Falcons pass rush is like vaunted.
They've got some guys.
They've got some dudes. What if the Cardinals string together 3 games of some pretty good pass rushers, Rams, Texans, and Falcons? You're feeling pretty good about that 5-sum while adding Paris Johnson Jr. back, and you're really just looking at the right tackle spot for next year.
Oh no, you need to upgrade the right guard position.
You still, I was gonna say it's kind of
right guard. So it's a
fool's
goal.
Fool's goal. You still gotta go ahead and make your upgrades. I mean, the offensive line is.
I mean, Jamil, we've been talking crap about them. I mean, John Gaines played really well. We're finally seeing a healthy John Gaines actually get some run at left guard. Like he was going to start at center, you'd think, before they signed Yalta Furl during camp, before John Gaines, was out for the year. Like he was a swing guy for those. He was the center and left guard for Zach Charbonnet at UCLA. Like the dude was a stud. But yes, looking at that, like it doesn't make it. The thing that pisses me off about this team. I mean, how long do you have? But Jamil, welcome to the Cardinals world. Like, it doesn't make sense they only gave up 2 sacks to the best defense in football. It doesn't make sense. Rational sense. Paris Johnson Jr. is out, and Daniil Hunter, Will Anderson are pedestrian. Like, that's the frustrating part. And you can't block teams that you're 100% supposed to be blocking when the games matter. So, I don't know. I know offensive line is an inexact science, but
crazy stat about the Falcons. They have 25.5 sacks by players under the age of 25 this season.
They're second in the league in sacks, I think. Like they've got almost 50
by 8, and they lead by 8 in terms of who's under them. So
yeah, James Pierce, Jalen Walker.
Yeah, they can rush the passer for sure. And so again, more of a motive for the Cardinals to start fast. I know that sounds like a different language considering what we've seen the last, few weeks or a lot of weeks, but yeah, they've got to start fast. And so they don't end up in a drop back situation, but they have performed well in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a mirage to me if we're talking about this offensive line holding up again, because I know this is again an inexact science, but you drop back to pass 40 times and you give up 2 sacks. I'm just calling it 1 sack because your plan probably wasn't to drop back and pass 40 times. So he dropped back to pass 50 times against the Rams. I think he only got sacked twice as well. So these string of games do matter because then it makes you feel more confident going into the draft, going into the offseason of okay, start John Gaines at left guard or whatever. You feel good about Froholt and Paris Johnson Jr., right tackle, right guard. That's all we got to attack. And then you're talking about an offensive line that is actually serviceable for a while, but it'll be interesting to see. Let's get into the draft implications just briefly. Some predictions first, and let's do that next. All right. Let's close it out. Jamil, let's have you go first. What do you think is going to happen in this game? And how many rushing yards are the Cardinals holding Bijan Robinson to?
I don't know. I mean, I'm going to think about Bijan in terms of all-purpose yards. I think he's going to have, regardless if they stop the run, he's going to be effective in the pass. I think he's going to have a big day though. Just in terms of what the defense has given up in the last few games and how many touches he gets. So I can't put a number on that, but I do think he'll be effective. He'll score, they'll figure out ways to get him the ball. My prediction for this game, I'm going to say 20 to 24 to 14.
Care to tell us who's going to win?
Well, yeah, I actually don't know who the winner is.
Who's the winner? Who do you guys think is the winner?
Oh, stop. You can't deflect this on us, man. We're in week 16, man. We're on to your crap.
Oh, my God. You're picking the Falcons to win by 10? The Falcons stink.
They don't. But
the
Cardinals
weapons.
stink. The Cardinals
They do have weapons. They do have weapons. I'll give you that. But they've largely stunk.
Yeah, but also this isn't a game in which it's not going to be a crowd noise. They're not walking into a hostile environment. This is going to be a glorified training camp type of scrimmage. This isn't going to be. God. It's not home field advantage. I think 24.
I bet there'll be $8 tickets on the Game Time app.
It's
going to be one of those games.
Use code LOCKEDON NFL for $20 off your first purchase.
Yeah. So
love that.
For me, it's 2 different numbers, as Jamil said. It's 2 different numbers. It's Bijan's all-purpose, which will be between 150 and 200. Total rushing yards, because they have 2 starting running backs on that roster with Tyler Algier.
Yeah.
This is you thought that Kyron Williams and Blake Corum were good. These guys are 1 and 1A. These guys are the 1-2 punch, the best one in the league probably this year. And I actually did a crossover Thursday with Aaron Freeman from Locked On Falcons. And with Kirk Cousins in his career, he's the weirdest quarterback. It's he could throw the ball 50 times or he could throw the ball 8 times, and they could run the ball 45 times. If they start to run the ball and they can run the ball downhill right away, they're just going to run the ball. And they'll run a little play action. I think Drake London being there will help a little bit. But if you told me that Bijan and Tyler Algier, touches-wise, catches and rushes, was in the high 30s, I'd be yeah. That makes sense because the Cardinals can't stop the run.
And not to mention, the Falcons have a really good offensive line. They play really well together. They've got some good players on their offensive line. So it kind of I think the strength of the defense right now I don't want to say it's the D line, but they're definitely up there in terms of, production, or at least they're at the forefront of it. The Falcons can combat that with their offensive line.
Yeah.
Clancy, did you have a score prediction and who you think's going to win?
Yeah, let's hear it. Let's
Yeah,
hear
let's
it.
I
hear
think
it.
there's going to be a
You don't
lot
get
of
to
points
deflect.
scored. I think it'll both be at least in the 20s.
So who
This
do you
is
think's
going to be backyard football with your dad refereeing. Like, these guys don't have anything to play. They're just going to let it rip, dude.
They're not
Even
even
if
going to
it's
call
in the rush
penalties.
attack or the screen game attack. Like, what they do with Bijan Robinson around the line of scrimmage is masterful. It's a lot of angle routes. It's a lot of lining him up outside and having him run like little 3-yard dig outs, but just get him the ball in space and let him go. Like, if you haven't watched Bijan Robinson play, he's the best ticket in football. Even though he's not the fastest, he's not the flashiest. The dude is playing basketball on a football field with all of his moves. It's crazy how he can stop on a dime.
He's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mid.
By the way, fun stat. Bijan, he leads the NFL with 1,858 scrimmage yards this year.
Yeah. That's a lot.
I thought it was Christian McCaffrey at one point, but I guess not.
I'm
Not
sure
this
it was
year.
at one point.
Wow.
But usage-wise, Christian McCaffrey is averaging like 0.9 yards a carry.
Well, yeah,
More than that.
for
Bijan
sure.
Bijan gets those yards. The way he can juke in between the tackles around backers with no space, it's Barry Sanders stuff. It's LT stuff.
Yeah, Saquon-ish.
Yeah. But I mean, Saquon is even more of a power guy. Like, Bijan's not a power guy.
Yeah.
Like, LaDainian, I see a lot of LaDainian.
Feels like he's
Tomlinson
kind of
in Bijan.
both.
I like that. I like that comparison.
So
You're not going to tell us who's winning. A lot of points
who's
scored.
winning? Pick a team.
A team with a losing record is going to win.
Yeah. Somebody's gonna feel good after this game. I'll tell you that much.
So I feel better what you guys would feel worse, because at first I thought the Cardinals are going to win this game, not because of the draft implications, which I'll mention right now. Clancy mentioned this. Even if the Falcons beat the Cardinals are still in the driver's seat ahead of them because it goes by strength of schedule, which is the stupidest thing in the world. Then it does strength of schedule. So the Falcons would still be ahead of the Cardinals in that respect. However, I feel better about the Cardinals losing because you guys mentioned a lot of really good things. One, Kirk Cousins, I don't know if the arm strength is still there. Like, I don't know if he could still huck the ball 65 yards downfield.
But
he's always been a very accurate quarterback. And if you got someone that you can run the play action with enough to pick apart zone defenses, that with a guy who has seen it all, like a seasoned veteran in Kirk Cousins, it's going to be hard to fool him. You saw that last Thursday night. He's also like one of the greatest Thursday night quarterbacks ever at this point. I do feel like the Falcons are going to win this game now, but I think it's going to be like, can you trust the Cardinals offense to score 20 points?
Yes.
I mean, no, 20 points in non-garbage time minutes. Like, when the game is tight, when they need it, can they do it? I don't know. I'll go.
The answer up until this point has been no.
I'll go Falcons 21-17. I think it's still going to be close. But you guys talk about what the Falcons can do to expose the Cardinals. I think it's all really good points. And it brings you back to, what can the Cardinals do to exploit what the Falcons don't do well?
Kirk Cousins can turn the ball over like
that is true.
Like a dictionary definition of the worst quarterback to ever hold on to the ball.
That's
like, the dude is a turnover waiting to happen. You just need to get into his kitchen. The amount of fumbles that he's had in his career where he didn't get his whole arm throwing forward and it ended up being a fumble is laughable. Bijan Robinson has had fumble-rooski issues the last couple weeks. Like, the Cardinals, like, what's any game plan to shatter an offensive game plan? You get in the backfield. You get them off. You get them off their metronome. Kirk Cousins will turn the ball over if you let him. You just got to lead him to water. You got to lead him to that.
Any other last minute predictions? Because I want to go to something else really quickly that we missed a little bit earlier in the show that I just want to talk about briefly in terms of, okay. So we all agree that probably Gannon If it's time to go, none of us would necessarily disagree. I know this is a little bit of a turn switch, but I want to mention this really quickly.
Thanks
The
for
Arizona
letting us know.
Cardinals, well, that's what good hosts do. They just loft it up to you.
Cool.
Like, depending on what this game looks like as well, the Cardinals did just lose one of their defensive line coaches to Michigan State, and who it is doesn't matter. Whatever it is doesn't matter. Do you think this game doesn't even really matter because coaches already see the writing on the wall and this is a piece of that? Or do you think that is so unrelated to everything else and that it doesn't matter that one coach is jumping ship right now and that these games that they're still playing really do matter?
I mean, the games don't matter in terms of
job security, though.
Yeah. They matter. They matter for job security. I think it was interesting to see defensive line coach taking a new job, and the season's not over. Typically, that's something that is post season. Now, I don't know how it works with the opportunity presents itself. Sometimes you got to jump on it. They got people that they are vetting for the process, but I think there's rumblings. I think there's rumblings in the building. I would have to believe that it's not all squeaky clean in terms of these coaches all getting along and things like this has been a terrible year for the Cardinals. And so you have to believe that there's some sort of it could be cliques in terms of who hangs with who and who thinks this of this coach or whatever they're doing. But typically, coaching staffs like to stick together, especially a defensive line coach or something like typically all those guys go hand in hand with each other and they stick together, especially when they were brought in together. So I thought it was interesting.
You want my second smart thing of the month, and we're not even done.
Yeah,
this was an AAU coaching team. It was a lot of talented guys that were put together with glue. Let's see if it works. And people go their separate ways. I don't think this is an issue with anything. I think this is a guy who got an opportunity to go. That's D-line coach, position coaches. This is their journey. It's all right, you jump back to college. You got to take that role. You're going to make more money than you have with, even though NIL isn't correlative to coaches. It's
okay. So here's my question.
It's the latter.
When they asked Jonathan Gannon about it, he said, "I'm not going to comment on that."
No further comments on that.
Yeah,
Are
which
you
I
surprised?
thought, I'm surprised because typically if you're a head coach and your guy gets a job that is considered a step up for his coaching career, you say, yes, he's been someone that, we view very highly in the building.
Deserved.
Or things like that. So I was surprised that he just kind of, it seemed like I said, typically those things are put on hold until after the season and then you kind of discuss it. So it seemed like either there was something in terms of he didn't understand what was happening, but I thought his response was interesting.
Yeah. Also, the D-line is underproduced the entirety of the season. So, take that as you wish. No, I think Jonathan Gannon has zero bleeps left to give. He does it in a respectful way. He does it quietly. It's not like he's being reckless or anything, but it's he's swatting away questions with a lot more demonstrative nature than he used to. It's yes, no, good, fine. It's you know what? He's been through the ringer. He deserves it. Everybody deserves it. Nobody's winning, the media nor the coaching staff at this point. And people are going to take the opportunities that are given to them. I don't think anybody deserves any sort of, let me wait and put my stuff on hold with how things have gone this year. I don't think there's any animosity to it. And it's not an original story either. I just don't. I mean, this isn't the Clayton Adams thing that happened overnight, it seemed, during the offseason. It's oh, no, wait, what just happened? This is not that. I think it's much ado about nothing, and we're magnifying it because we have nothing new to talk about with a team that's been losing for the last year.
I just thought it was interesting because the season isn't over, because, one is an anomaly, two is a trend, a pattern. So if it happens again, it's something to really keep your eye on, but season's not over yet. And but people had kind of floated out there. And I thought that was interesting, that maybe the writing is on the wall and coaches starting to jump ship. But with that being said, guys, that's all we got for you guys today. Reminder.
Hold on, really quick. No, before we go, because that's really smart. We got a minute left, right? Do you think
Yeah,
Jonathan Gannon has done anything to deflect people from wanting to be, to stand behind him and stand side by side him? Like, I don't think this is some sort of random takeover because Jonathan Gannon is a bad coach and a bad person and nobody wants to be around him.
No, I think he's got a good reputation. I just think that he's not a head coach.
Okay. I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Ben. Go ahead.
It's okay. It's this show begins and ends with you, Clancy. This channel begins and ends with you.
I don't remember what I just said for last hour, so that's not a great game plan.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow us on all social media platforms. We appreciate you guys being here on the Locked On Cardinals Squad show. Reminder, we will be here Sunday post-game first. Clancy will go live. He'll do his 10, 15-minute spiel about why the Cardinals pissed him off this week. And then the three of us will go together and talk about how the Cardinals pissed us all off this week directly after he goes live. So that'll be around games at 2. Show will probably be around like 6-ish. Clancy will probably go at around 5:30-ish. As soon as that game ends. Hit that like, share, subscribe button. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. Appreciate you guys here being in the chat. And we will see you guys on Sunday. Stay safe. Have a good week, everyone.